And welcome to the K-Files. And welcome, JP.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
Good morning. Glad to have you. We've had some interesting feedback. I always like to give you my feedback because I do appreciate what y'all say to me in the public. But you know what? It seems like it's really weird that every time somebody says something to me, it's a female. And I got to thinking, I said, where are the males? Y'all watching this? I know you are, but you just don't jibber jabber and talk about it as much. That's what it is. But a lady told me that she said, I've gotten so into this. And she said, who are you doing next week? And so when people are anticipating like that, it makes me feel really good. She was in anticipation, wanted me to tell her who was coming up. So anyway, again, thank you. The number that we use is 406-6736. In case you are watching this for the first time, that is a hotline number. Also, you can always call. If you have a tip of any kind, no tip is too small. 977-1111 is Crime Stoppers. Or you can always call the agency. You can always call the Rocky Mount Police Department, Edgecombe County Sheriff, Nash County Sheriff, Halifax County, Wilson County, whatever. There's Crime Stoppers. So what we're doing on this show is looking, and text to tip. Now that's really important too, because that's something the police department has set up that's kind of neat. Makes it very easy. It's anonymous, folks. Nobody will know who you are. I won't, JP won't, we do not know. And you heard Lieutenant Tender from Edgecombe County say, I don't care who you are, just give me the tip and I will hand you the money.
Get paid.
You will get paid, and in cash. You will get cash. And we pay within 2 to 3 days. I mean, you can't ask for any more. So if you know something, give families relief. That's what you're doing. Give them closure and help us close a case. So there's so many reasons why, if you know something, and there's so many cases that I would say, we'll ask Lieutenant Seifman if this is not true, that are just this far from being solved. I mean, they're just on the cusp of being
one tip
solved.
away.
And that's right, one tip away. And you could be the one. You could be the one to do it. We were talking, interestingly enough, about the Halifax County case, quadruple homicide, and I think we might have some guests.
Have a family member who has, of one of the victims, has reached out and would like to come on and share some details, point of view about the case, about the entire investigation situation.
That would be interesting.
And I learned a lot, and I'm gonna save it for her to share. But there's a whole lot to that case that I was unaware of. You know, we've talked about the DA, we've talked about the Sheriff's Department, changes in the charges. Very eye-opening.
Oh, my word.
Some disappointment.
Yeah, I was going to say how they, I just cannot imagine how they must feel now that those three were walking the street, but one passed away. So the other two just are out. They're just out. But then I said, what are you going to do as a DA? DA is responsible for letting them out, But what are you going to do as a DA when somebody comes to you and says, they didn't do it, I lied, or whatever he said?
And that's my understanding, is that this suspect has taken full responsibility, the entire blame, the entire rap of everything that happened. But I still go back and say, just my opinion, I find it hard to believe that one person busted up into a home where 4 other adults were and executed them all.
No, I just find it hard to believe, and I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
And how in the world do you take the blame for something like that? Were you being threatened? I mean, it makes you wonder what was going on. But, you know, the family must just feel terrible, because this was a heinous, it was just brutal murder of 4 people. So anyway, we're going to be talking about that.
Hopefully I've got this lined up for next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And
That'd
if
be
not
great.
that Thursday, the following, but fingers crossed next Thursday.
Oh, that's really
where we're
good.
at.
That is really good. Well, you all are fixing to enjoy another book. We have it. And today I'll be doing this isn't it.
Okay.
But I'll be proofreading. We're all on the board going to proofread. You know, we need to proofread it. This one had a few mistakes in it, but that's okay. We're going to proofread it today, make sure it's ready to go to print. And we're going to have some new cases. Some of the old cases will still be in that book, but we're going to have a new booklet. So if you feel led to do a sponsorship in the book, WHIG did one on the back. If you feel led to do a sponsorship in our book, then please do so. We're also, folks, this is how we are able to pay out, and we say up to $15,000. This is how. I mean, we have to keep replenishing the kitty, because we just paid out not long ago to Edgecombe County about the Pine Tops case that we talked about. So we have to keep putting money back. We've also got a fundraiser that you'll be hearing more about at Rocky Mount Mills coming up real soon. That's going to be a lot of fun, like the one we had at Don Bullock Chevrolet. So that's going on. There's a lot going on with Team Cold Case and Decay Files. Really is. And we feel like, you know, there's a lot of activity brewing and going on, and we hope you'll participate, one, by giving to at the fundraiser, number 2, by either buying an ad in this book or by giving a tip. That would be the ultimate gift you could give to Team Cold Case. If you know something, say something.
Absolutely.
So anyway, before we get into another case, I think we will go ahead and go to break and get on. We have with us this morning Lieutenant Seifman. He is so faithful to come every third, is it the third? Yeah, third week in the month, and this is his week. So we're going to hear more about a case that he wants to talk about right after this.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back. We have Lieutenant Seifman from the Rocky Mount Police Department with us. And what case do you want to talk about this morning?
Good morning. We're talking about Jameer Whitaker this morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you.
Jameer Whitaker, 2 years old, back in January of 2008. Inside the residence, they heard noise outside, and his dad went to investigate, opened the door, and observed a subject, and shots rang out. 3 shots were fired into the residence. 2 struck the father, and 1 struck Jameer, and Jameer succumbed to his injuries.
That's one of those cases where the innocent gets
Truly innocent. Yeah, we've had it happen before many times.
Yeah.
Get caught in the crossfire and shooting into houses, and just, you know, you're hitting them, shooting into houses.
That's terrible. And
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
just tragic.
Where did this happen?
This was over in the 2800 block of Pelham Road, over there,
Where is that?
Pelham in Oakland. It runs parallel to the train tracks over by Stone Park. If you go
Okay.
up, if you go up Stone,
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
then you cut back towards the tracks, it's a couple of blocks long.
Okay.
Really quiet neighborhood, and unfortunately that night was just disaster. It was tragedy.
Wow.
We've investigated leads, try to track down individuals, but we can't put the case together. We need that one person or maybe more than one person, but we need somebody that's got some information to come forward and share that information. Like you mentioned earlier, that one smallest of tips could be the actual piece of information that causes the puzzle to fall into place.
Right.
We have quite a few of our cold cases that we have good ideas, but you can't make charges if you have ideas. You have to have proof.
Do you have some, Lieutenant, that you say, we're just this close to solving it?
Many of them are that close. Just a small piece of information that would link A to B and give us C, and it would solve the case. Just that much information is all we need. Just that last little piece. So this is a picture of the residence. That picture was taken the night of the incident, and then I have a daytime picture up there so that you can see the residence. But just 2 years old. This one and baby Nash, they kind of tear at your heartstrings.
Yes, absolutely. So anybody that knows anything can do text to tip. There you go. Write that down. Leave that up there a minute, Brittany, and let people just be able to grasp that with the number.
That's probably getting to be more and more popular.
We are getting more messages. That is true, and it is completely anonymous. There's no way we can get the information even if we wanted to. Now, but you can. I can text back, and they can text back, so we can communicate even though it's completely anonymous. And if they choose to share their information, they can, or their identity, they can.
Right.
But it's an awesome way to gain information, because the texting crew, 2 thumbs to solve a case would be awesome. And of course, Crime Stoppers has been around forever, and we do get a lot of Crime Stoppers calls. You do the same thing that a lot of other people do, though. You 972'd it.
It's so easy to do that, because that's the city's number.
That's the city's number, and so we get a lot of calls for the city. So it's 977-1111 if you have information.
That's right.
For the Crime Stoppers, and 972-1111
That's
if you need
right.
to get through to the city.
Yes, or if you want to call the hotline, it's 406-6736. So there's so many ways you can do this. There's no reason why you cannot reach someone if you feel led to give a tip, because and we really need. We need to solve these crimes. We really do. Number one, for families to have closure. Number two, we need to get some of these off the books. You really do.
Most important is for the families. They need
that is
closure.
most important. That is number one.
And then we don't need the criminals out there committing other crimes.
Absolutely not. You don't want them on the street, people.
That's right.
You really don't. You want to get them off the street. So, anyway, okay, Jamel Whitaker, tell us again the address.
The 2800 block of Pelham Road, January 12th, 2008, around 10 o'clock at night.
Okay. All right. If you know anything, say something. Please contact the Rocky Mount Police Department. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Lieutenant. Absolutely. We'll be right back.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back. Well, we appreciate Lieutenant Seifman coming and talking to us about that case. A sad case where a 2-year-old got struck by gunfire. Just terrible.
Terrible.
So, it's never good. there's 2 or 3 cases that I debated on this week that I wanted to talk about, but I think I want to talk about, and there's one that we might try to have one of the officers on to talk about, the Roger Askew.
Is that the Franklin County?
That's a Franklin County case, and we try to be fair and talk about all the counties. We're going to do Halifax. Hopefully next week. We do a lot of Wilson, we do Edgecombe, we do Nashville. We're trying to be fair to everybody and get all their cases out and all the words out. So this is a Franklin County.
Well, I'm great friends with Kevin White.
Okay.
He's actually running for sheriff
Really?
in Franklin County. I will
Wow.
reach out to him and
Okay.
see if we can make that happen.
Okay, and we'll do that case at that time then. This case, right under it, J. Lisa Reynolds bothers me because we've talked about it 2 or 3 times, but no one has seen or heard from J. Lisa Reynolds since she went to the library in Scotland Neck. Remember this case? On February the 22nd, 2010. She logged off her Facebook account about lunchtime. And it makes you wonder, why was she at the library on Facebook? Was she one of these that was looking online for friends
Love,
or, love or something like that? It makes you wonder about that. But anyway, she logged off her Facebook account about lunchtime. At 1:40 p.m., she logged in again from a home computer along Cemetery Road. So, does that mean she didn't go to her home? It said a home computer along, it doesn't say from her home.
It does not.
It says along Cemetery Road.
I'd love to know what led them to Cemetery Road.
Right. This is in
How they
Scotland
knew
Neck.
that.
Yeah. Reynolds didn't have a home computer. Okay, so she wanted home.
That's right.
And friends say she would go to the library almost every day to use the internet and Facebook. Wow. J. Lisa was normally shy, but was more outgoing to people she met online. Oh, so she did meet people online. Oh, dear. A massive search was conducted, and several other searches have been conducted over the years. Agencies and volunteers from across the state were involved in these searches and turned up empty-handed. So she just disappeared into thin air, just nowhere. She's just nowhere.
Sounds like to me, speculating, she probably met someone online and it didn't go the way she was hoping it was going to go.
Right, right. That's about what it sounds like. So anyway, if you know anybody around Scotland Neck, Halifax County, anywhere, if you know of anything about this case, saw any vehicles around, saw her maybe around the library or anywhere, please call the number. Okay, we will move on to another case. I want to do this Isabelle, Calvo, Palacios, because I don't think we've ever done this. 8/4/2015. On August 4th, 2015, Isabelle Calvo Palacios was reported missing to the Wilson Police Department. The investigation led investigators to 4710 Ward Boulevard, which later led to the arrest of Gregory Kent Parks. On November 15, 2017, a Pitt County jury found Gregory Kent Parks guilty of first-degree murder by the commission of attempted second-degree rape and by the commission of second-degree kidnapping, as well as guilty of first-degree kidnapping, obtaining property by false pretenses, and obtaining the status of a habitual felon. However, the body of Isabelle Calvo Palacios was never located. Palacios' photograph and other information are available on the NamUs website. And now NamUs is such an important, and Linda would always tell me, if departments would just use NamUs. He told me NamUs is just such a great resource and tool.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean? That because is this another one where if they don't have the body, so
It sounds like to me
well, they made
guilty
an
verdicts.
arrest.
It sounds like to me guilty verdicts were passed down. That this is more or less in the book as an effort to locate the body.
Well,
That's the way it reads to me.
So they're out because they're not in. They were arrested.
It says the grand jury.
Right. So a Pitt County jury found Gregory Kent Parks guilty of first-degree murder.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? By the
I need to check
commission?
into
I've
that.
never heard it put that way. By
I
the
hadn't either.
commission?
Because a grand jury does not hand out verdicts. A grand jury determines if there's enough evidence to bring forth charges.
Right.
Okay? A trial jury delivers a verdict.
Right.
So I don't know if this is a typo or what it is in the book, but a grand jury does not return a verdict.
That's really
So-
strange. Anyway, she is missing. Isabelle Calvo Palacios has never turned up.
Talking about the smallest of tips, I remember being a little boy. Do you remember when the mall opened here in Rocky Mount?
Mm-hmm.
A lady was abducted
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and,
Absolutely.
and murdered.
Mm-hmm. I remember that well.
And do you know what led to an arrest in that case?
What?
Someone visited the this suspect's home, and they saw her driver's license inside the home and reported it.
Really?
You know, a lot of criminals love to take mementos or little things to say or kind of tuck away to look at, almost as like a trophy or something.
This is my souvenir for what I've
That's
done.
exactly right. And that smallest detail from someone visiting that home, seeing that driver's license on the coffee table, called 911, called the police department, and reported seeing that license. And it led to his arrest. The smallest of details solve crimes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Wow. Well, that's a very interesting case.
What was her name? Vivrette.
Yes, it was. That's exactly right. You got the name exactly right. Mm-hmm. So it was. I really wish they could solve Tammy Grady. I see Tammy Grady is the next one. And I wish they could solve, I'll tell you another one is Glenda Lawrence, the swimming pool over here at High Meadows. I wish they could solve that case. I wonder how close they are to solving that one.
Was Grady a Wilson
Linda
PD
Lawrence.
or Wilson County case? Do you remember?
Tammy Grady was, I think it was Wilson PD. Pretty sure, wasn't it?
Wilson PD.
Yeah, they're bound to find her body somewhere.
And what was the other one you were saying?
Yeah, Linda Lawrence. She was the one that was seen at the swimming pool. But it's so old, 6/13/1996. Linda Williams Lawrence left a private swimming pool in the High Meadows neighborhood of Rocky Mount at 8:30 p.m. June 13th, 1996, and was never seen or heard from since that date. She was 45 years old at the time and had a butterfly tattoo on her left hip. Very identifiable piece of, evidence. Not evidence, but something that somebody would definitely recognize. She was wearing a pink bathing suit, black t-shirt, white sandals, her black and silver full-size 1984 Ford pickup. she was driving was found on at Meadowbrook Park with the keys and her personal belongings still inside. Police found no signs of foul play in the truck. Now, that's really weird. But Linda was never seen again. A main theory has been that Linda and a friend owed money to someone and that person took her life, and the friend has been silent according to archives regarding this case. So, you know, High Meadows is over here. I mean, it's just over here off Gold Rock Road. The truck was found on Meadowbrook Road, which is Edgecombe County, way across town. No foul play anywhere to be found around the truck. No evidence of foul play in the truck. Nothing.
I don't understand the friend being mentioned. I'd love to know more about the friend. Did the friend supposedly see something, witness something? Clearly, fear is a tactic being used to keep her non-compliant or non-cooperative.
Yes.
I'd love to know more about the friend.
I would too. They said she frequented the pool a lot. I mean, she went to this pool quite a bit. Over at not Meadowbrook Park, but over in High Meadows neighborhood, which is off of Gold Rock Road. They had a pool. They had a neighborhood pool. I think they still do. I think that same pool is still there.
Kind of a nice neighborhood.
It's a nice neighborhood, yeah. And she had a black and silver full-size 1984 Ford pickup she was driving, and somehow went over to Meadowbrook Park with the keys and her personal belongings still inside, but she was gone. No signs of foul play in the truck, but Linda was never seen again. These cases bother me because, I mean, all these people are never seen again. They're missing.
Right here in Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't LA, this isn't Chicago.
At? I mean, to me, it's just, I don't know. It's just amazing. You can't, there's no body. Well, anyway. All right, we're going to take our break. We'll be right back with you right after the weather.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back to the K-Files. As we said, in case you just tuned in, you definitely want to tune in next week. We might have a guest from Halifax County. A lot of people told me they knew the couples. They were evidently, they knew a lot of people. And especially in Halifax County, I think everybody that lived around there knew them. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to be talking about those cases possibly next week and have a family member. Is it granddaughter?
It's a granddaughter.
It's a granddaughter.
Mm-hmm. So far, it's at least one granddaughter.
Okay. So anyway, might have them on next week, which would be really good. We like the time that we had Tammy Grady's sister. Very emotional. She was very emotional. I heard a lot about that show. People really appreciated her coming in and sharing her feelings and her thoughts about the case. And so this may be the case again that the family member will share with us. So that's a good thing.
Clearly, this family wants justice, they want closure,
sure.
and they don't want anyone wrongly accused, prosecuted, or convicted. However, they do want due diligence in the investigation and the people who perpetrated this crime to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
No more, no less, and I don't think that's too much to ask for.
No, I don't either. And this was a terrible, terrible murder on I believe it was a Sunday afternoon, wasn't it? They were playing cards, minding their own business, and the home of the gentleman, the gentleman's house that they were playing cards at, the couple, he had some guns, and I think he might have sold guns, or people knew about it.
That's my understanding too.
Yeah.
He was a gun dealer.
Yeah, he was a gun dealer, and people knew about it, and I don't know if that's what led to.
That's not typical. That's not typically somebody you would want to rob.
No.
Because the odds of getting shot are more so with someone who sells guns or something like has a firearm background. I don't know, just.
And I think robbery, they did say robbery was the motive, right? Because I mean,
that's my understanding too.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, we will be discussing that case next week. So whether we have the guest or not, we'll try to talk about the case anyway, but we hope that we do have the guest for that. So make sure you tune in. Tune in every week. All right. Let's talk about, I remember talking about this case before, but I would like to talk about this Phillip Willoughby, 11/27/2020. This is one of the more recent cases than some of them. It's not that recent, but it's more recent than some. In the morning hours, Nash County Sheriff's Office and the State Highway Patrol, you ought to remember this case.
This is the one the first sergeant came on a month or two ago and spoke with you briefly about.
He did.
The first sergeant here in Rocky Mount.
He did. Responded to a hit and run collision involving a pedestrian on NC 231 in Nash County at the Middlesex, North Carolina city limits. Upon arrival, troopers discovered a deceased male who was identified as Phillip Lee Willoughby, Jr. of Middlesex. Mr. Willoughby had been struck by an unknown vehicle, and the vehicle fled the scene after impact. Investigators believe that he ran out of gas on the night of November 27, 2020, left his car at a nearby Dollar General, and was walking home when he was hit. A Middlesex police officer spoke to him that night, but Willoughby told him that he was waiting on a ride. At last check, the keys to his vehicle were never found. His cell phone was found several days later in an area that was already searched multiple times before. So what happened? So after he was hit, they took his keys, his phone. What? I don't understand this one.
Well, there is an official narrative, and then having lived and living in Middlesex, there is another narrative in the community. There's one thought process, speculative, that they went back and watched the cameras at the Dollar General and at the pit stop, and it appears as though maybe he was being followed by a vehicle.
Oh, wow.
They think he had a large sum of money. Okay? They think that he may have been a target because he was carrying so much cash.
And they knew that?
And they knew it. They don't know if somebody was in line behind him at the Dollar General and saw it. They don't know if somebody was in line behind him at the pit stop and witnessed it. But they do have the same suspect vehicle, supposedly, on camera at 2 different stores while this man is inside.
Wow.
Sounds like, to me, he was a target. I do know that I believe he was intentionally struck, just my opinion. I believe he was knocked down. I believe they probably came back, and regardless if he was deceased at this point or not is open to debate, it's open to discussion, and they robbed him and left him for dead if he was not dead.
Wow.
There is also word that a credit or debit card was used at a local Walmart.
Really?
And see, to me, from a law enforcement perspective, that alone should be enough to bring charges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if the suspect vehicle that was supposedly seen can be tied to this individual. To me, it looks like you've got enough to go to trial, bring charges and so forth.
Wow.
So and that's just the rumor in the community in which I live.
Right.
Okay? So to me, it makes me scratch my head and wonder, why has charges not been brought in this case?
So he went in the Dollar General or the store?
Both.
He went in both?
Both. And they are probably 2 miles in distance apart.
Interesting. Well, I don't know, but if you know anything about this in the Middlesex area, please come forward and call the number. We do have cash money to give you if you offer a good tip. We'll be happy to pay out in 2 to 3 days. So call this number or call the Nash County Sheriff's Office, 459-4121. Call that number. But please call if you know anything, if you see anything, if you've heard anything. I mean, we need to get this solved, and you know, we need to bring closure to families.
Yeah.
We do. We really do. So if you know anything, please call the number. As I said, we'll be having a fundraiser. We hope you'll participate in April at Rocky Mount Mills at the Powerhouse, similar to the one that we had at Don Bullock Chevrolet. We will have another book coming out. You can pick them up from any board member. You can pick them up here. You'll be able to pick one up here real soon. They're fixing to go to print. As I said, we are we are proofreading right now. So if you'd like to, I think we could probably insert 1 or 2 more ads while we're proofreading. Hadn't gone to print, so if you feel led to put an ad in the book, a lot of people pick these up because they enjoy reading them, and I cannot tell you how many people have said, I read it all the way through. It was so interesting. The cases were so interesting that I didn't put it down till I read it all. So anyway, if you want to put an ad in the book, please let us know. It just simply shows your support.
And with that donation, every dollar that's given, every 5, every 10, every 50, that money goes to solve a crime.
It absolutely does. Absolutely. And that's what we want. That's what we're doing here. That's why we have the K-Files and the Team Cold Case. It is anonymous, as I've said thousands of times, I feel like, but there's people that watch this for the first time, probably every week. So we do want to get all that information out. It is anonymous, and we do pay cash and we do pay quickly. So there are various ways, as you have seen today, that you can definitely notify authorities. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for the K-Files today. Thank you for watching. Thank you, JP, for being with me today.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for having me.
And we will see you next week, where we should have a very interesting show.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.